Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Dual Screens podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Stephen Fontana, and with me, as always, he's over there in the other box. He's Andy Asimakis. How you doing, Andy?
I'm in a great mood, Steven.
Aren't you, though? Me too.
Really good. I saw Sonic 2 last night.
Oh,
One of the best video game movies ever.
I've heard this. Still haven't
Dude,
seen
you
the first
you
one.
have to watch them both back to back.
Back to back. My God,
Yeah.
it's like the Godfather epic.
Treat yourself.
Is there a supercut of these movies?
Oh man, I wish. It's just it's a thrill ride, start to finish.
Yeah, a thrill
There
ride.
was
Got
there
it.
was there was some actual tears.
Speaking
I
of a
getcha.
thrill ride, Andy,
Oh
we
boy.
had a very interesting encounter at PAX East with our guest this week. Why don't you tell that little story? Because I think that was really cute.
It was a total drive-by.
Yeah.
It was on our last day, and we were just in our most lazy ass self moods possible after 3 days of just gunning it and packing in interviews and gameplay sessions. And we're just bouncing around the PAX Rising area,
Yep.
the hottest and best upcoming indie games.
Our favorite place to really
Yeah. And we just see this little game called Blind Fate, and some dudes playing it, and it looks kind of badass, side-scrolly, 2.5D kind of thing going on. And we spoke to one of the devs, and she was Greek.
Uh-huh.
And I'm Greek, and it was Easter Sunday. We shared
Greek
some
Easter Sunday.
Yes, correct. So we shared some pleasantries, and I was like, your game looks cool. We should talk about it sometime. And she was saying how her other partner is Italian. I'm like, mine too. So
Hey, that's me.
yeah, that's you. So yeah, then we spoke after PAX wrapped up, and we're all kind of decompressed and relaxed and had some time to get some content out, and we booked this, and now we're here.
Yeah,
Talk
this
about
is-
a
this is
really
gonna be awesome.
dope ass looking game that I'm
That's
very
right.
excited about.
And our guest this week is Saverio Caporusso, the CEO of Troglobytes Games, developer of Blind Fate, Edo No Yami, a dark sci-fi action side-scroller with brutally challenging combat. You play as a blind cyber samurai, and you use your blade and sensors to be your eyes and cut your enemies down. Saverio,
Yeah.
welcome to the show.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Andreas. Thank you, Steve, for having me here.
Oh, of course.
Yes,
absolutely.
and well, I really enjoy. I'm really glad that you both like the game and you describe it so well. I would not be able, because perhaps I did so many times that.
You're
Yeah.
getting tired of it.
I do want to
Yeah.
point out, Steve, you didn't ask how to pronounce this guest's name. Is that the Italian? Like, you just know how
Yeah.
to say it perfectly? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, yeah, I have. I mean, it's not. So I had a math teacher whose last name was Capo,
Mhm.
and I have a best friend growing up whose last name is Russo.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's really, Caporusso. It's not, it's not that difficult. Saverio, that's a good name. That's a solid name.
God, it's such like an action star name, like or like the villain.
Saverio.
You know,
Yeah,
Saverio.
indeed.
Yeah.
It's for villain. It's for villain, indeed. I mean, the one that dies in the first episode
The
of
first
everything.
episode. Oh no! But
No,
you have to
you
come back at the end of the season, like I was never dead.
You
kinda
can't
thing.
have a
Yeah.
badass name like Saverio and be killed off in the
Yeah.
season opener. That's not how it's done.
impossible. That's impossible.
It's done.
Ladies and gentlemen, like Saverio, you might be brand new to this podcast. And what is this podcast? It's the Dual Screens podcast, the internet's #1 indie developer interview podcast, hosted by a couple of people you've never heard of, probably. The show posts each and every
With a dev you never heard, probably.
Yeah.
We should add that with the developer you maybe haven't heard of also.
So sometimes, yeah, I guess so.
It's 50-50.
The show posts each and every Friday for your listening pleasure on your podcast service of choice. And, of course, as a video version on youtube.com/dualscreens.tv. If you want to support us on Patreon, get into our VIP Discord and get all sorts of bonus content, you could go to patreon.com/NDS podcast, just like our Patreon producers, Colton the Apprentice Nestler and FNH Paul. We cannot continue to grow and cover as much as we do, which has been an insane amount these last month or so. Without your support. So thank you so much for doing so. And now let's just dive headfirst into this bad boy. Andy, we're putting it on a tee for you for our ceremonial lead-off question of the show. Be gentle. Be gentle.
No, do whatever you want. I mean,
Oh no, it's a very
I can.
simple. It's a very simple question. I want to ask Saverio if he's ever seen what a dog looks like, because there is a
No, never.
dog character that you're pursuing or looking for in the beginning of the game in the demo, and it turns out to be this giant ass-looking mech. And I'm like, oh, there's my dog. There it is.
One
There's a
man's
doggy.
dog is another man's mech. You know how it is. Andy.
Yes, it's a Black Samurai mech.
I love it.
Yes, I
And
mean, yeah, with I we were also I had also this thought, and I don't know. Well, it was modeled like this because at the starting idea, it was supposed to be like an enemy.
that makes sense.
So yes, it was to be meant like an enemy, or kind of, to do something with the pole, which are like this. So well, and after, because there is let's say this Twitter account, say, can you pet your dog? So we said, okay, we need a dog.
It's true.
Oh,
yes, yes.
Wow.
Can you pet the
So-
dog?
So there's a Twitter account. Can you pet the dog? Which is, for those who don't know, it tracks games that you can pet
Yeah.
dogs in. So you're
Yeah,
like, oh,
that's
we want to
literally the
we
account.
want to be on this Twitter feed, so let's put a dog in our game.
Yes, so this is the dog, basically.
I legit thought it was a boss fight at the end of the demo. I was like, I just fought a boss that was a pain in my balls.
Yes.
Beat it after many countless tries. I was like, I did it. All right, let's keep going forward. This giant fucking thing. I'm like, God damn it, game.
It
Doing
never
it-
ends.
You're just doing it again to me. But thankfully, it was a friendly
No.
robot.
Yeah, we're not so bad. I mean,
I have a weird question.
I love weird questions. the
How
best kind of
much?
questions.
How much? So for those who don't know, your character is blind and is using sensors to kind of see the world and perceive what's going on and kind of, sense the enemies around it, around you, and all that fun stuff. How much of what the player is seeing is real, and how much is led to the imagination of the protagonist who's sensing everything around him? Because I mean, is he sensing like complete accuracy of like, yes, this dog thing is this big, it does look exactly like this, or how much of this is like him filling in the blanks?
Well, it depends. Basically, yeah, it's it depends by many things. First of all, you have 3 sensors. So some are very accurate in the meaning, each sensor allows you to see the source of it. So instead of making only the fire, we made also a barrel itself could be, which is in fire. You see in the same way. So of course, guys, must be a graphic that is highlighted with a red filter. Let's say, okay, not so simple, but okay, there's the spot on the red. And then for other things which are a movement, we will sometimes, yes, it's precise, like you see the red engine or red part, the core part of an enemy, which is hot, very hot, comes towards you. Meanwhile, whereas other things are a bit to the imagination, because the footsteps are not, let's say, once you produce a footstep, you imagine, okay, the foot was there, and then you don't see it anymore. You don't know where it is anymore, because of course the enemy walks, or something's flying, or it's hovering in a certain direction. Yeah, parentheses where also someone said, no, but you could use echolocation, and we said yes, it's more or less the same. That would have give a more accurate mapping of the environment. They say, okay, we don't want to give an accurate mapping, as you use always the echolocation.
Because then what's the point, right? Like if you're gonna
then you're not really blind. Then it's like, well, if I can see the
it's
entire
like Daredevil.
game.
Daredevil cheats, like Daredevil. It's especially in those first 2 movies with Ben Affleck. Like you basically just see everything in 1 or 2 colors because the sound is just bouncing off of everything. But the TV show did it a little bit a little bit more vague, where it was more about general locations and kind of honing in on those senses. I think it's a really cool concept, because you're kind of, the game is difficult already. Getting your timing down, it's very what would you compare it to, Andy? It's kind of like a little bit Souls-like in that you're like memorizing patterns or trying to get your timing right. You're parrying and all that fun stuff. But you're also dealing with the fact that, I mean, you are hamstrung a little bit when almost every battle you go into, you kind of have to deal with the blind, aspect of everything. Can you go into a little bit on coming to this concept? How did you come to the concept of having this character who's without sight, and how you're kind of translating that into an action game?
Well, yes. First of all, it was a long ongoing process. Okay, let's say the idea. Okay, let's have a blind samurai. Okay, not cyber. Okay,
Not
blind
cyber.
samurai. No. But yeah, blind samurai, and we want to have a robotic enemies, no? So say, okay, we have a robotic yokai, they were supposed to be huge. They come out from the forest, and people, farmers, they say, we don't know what those things are. So yeah, and we said, okay, what this is my perception of the brainstorming, because we had 2 weeks of brainstorming. So perhaps I remember more in detail some aspects. Basically, we want to make a side-scroller platform, so with the cool graphics. Okay, so you can work on the character, you can work on the enemies, you can work on the relationship, the character with his skills. The character with confronted with the enemies, so the enemies, or the relationship with the enemies, would be something different, which is something that we did already with a Hyper Parasite, which is our first game, in which you don't have to kill the enemies. It's better that you absorb them when you need a strong enemy. If the strong enemy comes out, you can.
That's what I do to Andy whenever we do a show.
Yeah.
Instead of killing him, I just absorb
Just
him.
absorb all of my energy and my life essence.
And honestly, it works against me if you think about it. It's
it's
a lot
toxic.
of black energy in there.
Yeah,
a lot of darkness.
Yeah, I mean, so we did okay, let's not work again on the enemies, because we did it previously. You can work on the weapons, like also in Diablo, no, that you find always new weapons. So that's quite common. A bit more less common, it's to work with the environment, and the environment can be destroyed, can be built, can be many things. In our case, we decide that you don't see the environment. So yeah, it's
that's I mean, that's really thinking outside the box, in my opinion, like getting to that point. And you nail it too. Like, you make it so that it's fun and it's intriguing, and it's not really a outright obstacle, right, Andy?
Well, I think the best part of this game is if you strip away the blind component and the sensing of enemies, it's a very well polished, fun side scroller title, which it's not hacky slashy. It's very precise. You got to play very patiently, when you're facing an enemy. But then when you throw in this whole, and you're blind, and I got to sense enemies, like, are they being detected with sound, or their heat, or their fumes coming off? It all just plays in very, very, very nicely. And then there's also part of weakening your enemies to exploit their weakness. Like, what is the sound sensor with their weakness? You can do a finishing strike on them too, and you have a gun. There's a gun too.
Yes, I mean, because we had to put, a ranged weapon, ranged attack somehow. So, well, there are many references to the arm canon, like Berserk, or like Mega Man X, or like million of games. So yes, Metroid said, yes, we stole idea from other games. Yes, okay.
That's called game development. That's called creation.
Yes. This is okay. We need something ranged. What we equal.
He has a sword. Oh no.
Yeah. So yes, we stole the idea of the sword from many things,
Zelda
And
clone. You're a Zelda 2 clone, is what I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing. You have a sword. It's
yeah,
side-scrolling,
yes,
enemies, difficult.
like
Accurate.
exactly like a Strider, like many other
Oh,
games.
Strider. That's what
Uh,
was coming to my mind, but I couldn't think of
Mm,
the exact game.
yeah,
yeah, but
Strider's the
Strider's
one.
dope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
we want to make a mini, but after we wanted also to avoid certain situations like the character floating in the middle air.
Right.
So, which is typical of platform game. I mean, we don't want the character, mm, like jumping from under the platform, and then when it falls on the platform, because this is a platform game. We want a side-scroller game, which the platform doesn't have those many mechanics.
Correct.
Because you can see a platform, for instance, sometimes we will think, okay, you see a platform with the heat, and then you change center, what you see yourself hovering in nothing, floating. And you can change, perhaps now you don't have control, you have to fight something flying, you can fall because you don't see, was, like too much difficult. Yeah, could be still in a very sub level or secret level, something like that. But finally, we didn't want to have this visual or something middle air. And we came with the other ideas, and I mean, already the game is packed with some concept that we need uh to do it to do well in order for the player to visualize and to conceptualize in the same way that we do. It's not possible to do it in one project only, and in the project anyway.
One thing that really struck me in the demo was for as it has a pretty serious tone, like the setting and what your character is going through, but there's also a lot of humor that I
Mhm.
wasn't prepared for between the main protagonist Yami and there's like an AI sort of sensei tutorial dude figure that guides you through this new blind world you're now living in. And can you go into the writing a little bit? How do you develop these characters and this world, and you keep it so light in a very, again, it's a very dark sci-fi vibe going on, but there's also jokes between the characters, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, there's a good amount of levity there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's we hired a writer who worked a bit for us also for Hyper Parasite. This writer does not only, let's say, for people that are listening, does not write only the dialogues, but he goes studying. He went studying two aspects, which are, of course, the Japanese mythology and the new technology in terms of really what's going to happen in next 200 years, what's being forecasted that's going to happen. So to him, we left also, of course, the dialogues, and which I screen all of them to pass to the translators, to pass to the voice acting. And yeah, indeed, I could appreciate, his job. Yes, so the main character, it's quite a bitter person because,
I like him already.
yeah, because by story it's written anyway. It's said in the intro, the prologue, which is for free on Steam. You can play already. Yeah, what happened? That of course his parent killed by the robotic enemy, so the shogun takes this orphan to become a samurai. And okay, of course he has already revenge in his mind against all the machines. On top, during, let's say, his job, he becomes blind. He becomes blind to the machine. What's happening in his bitter life? On his face, it's put an Oni mask. I mean, the mask of one of those machines.
Right.
I don't know if you follow I don't know what you follow. No, baseball team. No,
Sure.
so
That's a Steve question.
Baseball, hockey, the whole 9 yards.
okay, things to the team you hate the most.
Oh
And
no.
to survive, I don't know, they have to put the patch of the team on this team on
Oh
your
no.
It's
your
like going through like wearing the colors of a certain
yeah,
gang
No
when you go through
thanks.
their
yeah,
territory.
No thanks.
yes, yes. And this enemy, this symbol is the one that they kill your family, you have to bring on your face. So of course, you remember you were a bit bitter, and now you are really kind,
That's kind of like
angry.
that's kind of like Kratos in God of War, right? Like he wears those
Yeah,
that
yeah. I mean,
that pat he has the chains of Olympus that are like wrapped and embedded into his arms as a constant reminder of his
yeah,
perceived sins and all that stuff, and that's really cool.
Yeah, but he's not bitter. He's just angry.
yeah. It's
Well, I
agree. It's
You don't,
agree
mean,
you
to
don't
the
even
word.
you don't crack no jokes.
Yeah. But he finds another creature, we can say, I mean, an artificial intelligence, an AI, that doesn't care about the things, because he knows there are humans, there are things. I mean, in order to survive it, to put this mask on it to fix your skull
oh,
and
Jesus.
to connect to your to your brain, the sensor. So it works, plain, it works. I do it. I don't care if you like, no, if you were dying, so I help you. That's all. Go on. It's a machine that's also, very naive. I mean, a lot of naive, but also a lot, let's say, within brackets, intelligent. He knows everything. Respect to a samurai, he knows everything. You think a samurai from, with who learn only a few things in his life, like fighting and what the shogun told him to, what is the knowledge of the war, and he knows the other machine knows everything, but of course, its knowledge is not proper reasoning. So sometimes he's naive, and sometimes he's very wise and powerful. If you go in the description of the bestiary in the game, you will see. For you, it's still a god. It's still a god because it's made of cables and made of things that he speaks. So for you, it's really a machine you cannot replicate. I say, okay, this god is, I don't know, it's stupid, but he knows everything. But it's like a child.
No, it's like it reminds me of Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy. How everything is taken at face value.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
So
doesn't
there's
have the
yeah.
nuance.
right there's
Yeah.
the innocence, but it's also it's brute strength because it can fight too. And yeah, it just takes things as they are. It doesn't know what sarcasm is or those those kind of concepts. But
So try to figure out
Definitely.
a kind of character who become blind with the opposite team flag on his face, and this machine is, so of course comes out some comics, some humor somehow. Yeah, I mean, there is more. There is more anyway in the dialogues in the full game, of course.
that's so cool.
I've had cameos from my daughter twice, and my cat is like, as promised in the pre-show before we started rolling. My cat is crawling all over me, has gone behind me on my shelves, knocking things over. I am in pure damage control mode at this point, but I am muting when things are going bananas over here on my end, so you guys don't have to worry. I know you guys can hear it, but our listeners are not hearing the nonsense. So I do apologize, viewers, if you see me like karate chopping like things out of frame. I'm just trying to make sure that a cat doesn't walk across.
It's funny because
keyboard.
we're both blind to you right now. We can't see your face.
Oh yeah. My other camera's not working for some reason. So I have to explain why there's weird sounds happening on my end. But yeah, that's really cool. And one thing you did mention, that I wanted to kind of talk about a little bit is there's something that a lot of games, AAA, double, it doesn't matter. They include these bestiaries. They include this lore.
Yeah.
You have a very interesting way of kind of showing us what's going on in the world a little bit. That's not necessarily being taught to you as you're playing the game. It's kind of these contextual things. It is like a bestiary. But I think it's really important to the overall world building that you're doing. Can you go into a little bit about the world building aspect and kind of what you brought to the table with that, and what was the most important aspects of your world building?
Well, we had an idea not to say that we left everything to a person, of course. We give some general guides, and so we to the writer, and the writer brought us back the past, the apex of humanity with technology, robot machines, blah 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 blah, like 5, 6, 7, I don't know, let's say million of times the things that we have that works perfectly for us. So even that, let's say you don't need to work on them because machines do everything. So after I think anyway, it's written in the prologue. I'm not giving any any spoiler. After the apocalypse, let's say everything goes in the status of the game, losing a lot of knowledge about technology and about science, about everything. So after 500 years, it takes place the story of Yami. And Yami, what you see with color and lights or whatever, it's a nice working. Or was nice working. It's from the past, 5 years before. And then Yami, when takes data, which are the data that come from the brain of the dead enemies, destroyed enemies, you see what they saw, which is a destroyed environment maybe, or some war going on, or some bridge that has collapsed, stuff like this. The world building, it's there is more in the story, of course. The world, what we can show of the world building is what we can show through lore fragments that Yami finds.
Right.
And they say indeed, here there were those kind of humans many years ago. They were doing this and that. So some old human was complaining about about conditions, or other humans were complaining about other, the status of the nature, and then the work of the technology, and then different story, and then other humans. Anyway, after the apocalypse, during those 500 years, he finds traces of what's going on. Let's say, I found this machine before we were doing those things. They're not gods, they're machines. Blah blah blah. We were doing, and now we cannot do anymore. Perhaps indeed the gods punish us and stuff like that.
How much of what the writer came up with as far as filling in those blanks, how much of that dictated any, if at all, gameplay designs? Any sort of enemy designs, or did the writer come up with something and you go, wow, that's actually really cool. Let me design something around that little concept.
So I mean, first of all, it was it was proposing mostly, the degrees within brackets, the level of each enemy. Let's say, of course, to say, okay, those are those enemies, those characters. Let's say, in the past they were working with this function. So nowadays they could do these other things, and they could attack in this way. And then we think, yes, okay, they do like this, or no, we want some gameplay related action, so we modify totally. There are some moments we listen to him, some moments we don't listen because we had other needs. And yeah, but for the bosses and stuff like that, some characters, yes, we were listening to him because they say, the name of this guy is Bishamonten. Why? We don't know what is Bishamonten or Bishamonten is. So it's, I think, if I remember well, because there is another one who's Jikokuten, blah, 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 blah. So one is a reincarnation of Buddha, another one it's like Bodhisattva, another reincarnation of spirits and stuff like that. So let's say here there is a degree of, hierarchy. Meanwhile, for other enemies, we asked him take some yokai, find the most interesting ones, let's say famous and interesting. We convert them in machines,
Something a little practical, something that would have been would have had a purpose in the world pre-apocalypse, that kind of adapted to the world at post-apocalypse.
All of them, they had the purpose in the past. Of course, you can say, okay, this one was cleaning, and that's all. Yes, but was cleaning what and why and which condition?
Right.
So why it's there and why you should not find somewhere else. Anyway, after 500 years, they can go roaming a bit. But some other enemies which are statics, like this one, it's like a tree. it's a tree. Well, it was like a guide in a natural park.
Right.
So it's a
Oh,
tree.
that's
It's a
really
robotic
cool.
tree.
I like that.
Right.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
you find those, you kill the enemies, you collect data about the enemies, you see what they were, their function in the past.
That's cool.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
I feel like it's just one big cautionary tale. You know, we're
It's
here.
It's Boston Robotics.
Listen, we're talking about gas prices and baby formula, but the robots are behind the scenes plotting the takeover. That's what's going
Oh,
on, dude.
Oh
Your
yes.
Alexas, your
You're
Roku's, your
Alexa.
Fire
Yeah,
Sticks,
they want to
your
kill you. They want to
Roombas.
kill.
no.
I'm telling you,
Yes.
they're out to get you. Um, what was it like bringing this game to a convention like a PAX East? Because you have the demo online, so you can get feedback from there, but bringing it to a live convention where you can see people react to it and see how they handle the gameplay.
Okay.
What's that like for you guys? Do you prefer, is that more important to gathering feedback than just having a demo out there? What does it look like for the team?
So, of course, it's better to see someone live action.
Mhm.
Okay, someone that's playing your game and you see where they stuck. Something that for you it's very clear what to do. People don't do.
Oh my god,
It's
that's like me.
it's no. It's like mm, it's I don't think I don't think not to say to me because of course I have other friends they are dev and they find really weird that I mean something like this happens very often because mm, there are some players they I don't know they see a detail they get stuck with a small light somewhere they thinking that there is
Right.
this the Graal over there
There's
you
gonna
say
be a
no it's
super
just a
weapon
light
behind this
no
rock.
no there is nothing and, you know and they're stuck there 3 hours trying to do it say why and you never know I mean you really I don't know why there's this kind of culture no of course I'm not saying it's bad but you say okay you put something there for whichever reason they got crazy second I have showcased Yami, also our previous game, of course, a lot of time in Europe. I have to say the people in the PAX they were more open to come to play games. Let's say I'm here at the PAX. I don't know, perhaps this is what they think. I pay the ticket. I want to play everything. Okay, so yeah,
That's
I'm
impossible,
not.
but yes.
Yeah.
That's possible. I'm not saying the other in Europe the events are for free, but there are some people. Let's say if you offer to play the game, like they say, oh no, I don't come here. They think no, I don't come here to play those games. I want to go for the big ones, for the AAA. Of course, if you have
Got
a
it.
AAA stand next to you cannot do anything. They go there to see, I don't know, Resident Evil 95.
Correct.
You can you cannot do anything. You cannot do really. I mean, it's like that. I'm not blaming it. No, there's no blame here. My words. I mean, it's simple like that. And they were more open and to see things. And what I could see, I think it's very important because it happens. It has happened again. First of all, it's the reaction of very young people, very young players, which the game is not supposed to be for them, but they sometimes you are distracted, they take the controller, they start playing. Okay, so it happens also with Hyper Parasite. It happens with Yami. This was 4 or 5 years guy who takes the controller and plays just for having to have fun, not to criticize your game, not to see, let's see
Right.
if I will buy it. I don't want to judge the game. I want to see those color, the meaning of the things. They wanted
Right.
to see what's that. They play and they find themselves without any explanation. Really, I did in Lithuania. Of course, I don't speak Lithuanian. I don't speak. Let's say I could not speak with this young girl. She learned hyper parasite herself.
Wow.
The mechanic of release your
Damn.
body, release this body, snatch another one, fight. If you die, snatch another one, progress, go alone. I mean, I went to the bathroom and when I come back, she was playing up a parasite herself. And meanwhile, there were people, I explained the game and they're not able. Or they say they want to find, or they want to criticize everything. And the same way in the parks, there was a child. We have also a picture, it was dressed like Luigi, of Super Mario. He started to play. He started to play. He managed to find the mechanics and the controls without that. I didn't spoke with him. I didn't speak with him, and he managed to find the mechanics about weak spots and how to kill the enemy, how to dodge, what to do. It was even fun. Even if he dies 10 times,
Mhm.
doesn't he doesn't mind because He wants to have fun, and then he understands things. He's happy. He continues. Okay, we'll die. We'll play again.
You're not this. There's something about that, like not going in, and that's actually something that Andy and I kind of go into these appointments when we do a PAX. We don't go in there looking to write an article right away. Like we're not like, all right, let's see if this is any good. It's like, hey, this looked cool. Let's sit down and see what it's about. Like that's it. We just put our hands on it. We play it, and we're like, okay, cool.
It's always oh, this looks fun. Like just like with your game, we're walking past it. Like this looks really interesting. Like this looks like it could be a lot of fun. And lo and behold, like it is. And when I was playing it at home, when I
it's not fun anymore.
from PAX, no, it's not. No, yeah, it's shit. Yes, it's challenging, but it's not to the point where it's unfair or unbalanced. It's just the game is like you can do this, but you have to get better at it. And you're having fun as you're learning patterns and knowing when to roll, when to dodge, when to use your shotgun, when to use an execution move on enemy. It's all very well balanced, and it's just fun across the board. So yeah, I never go in like, oh, this is gonna suck. I'll play this for like 5 minutes and walk away after that.
Oh, not even that, but we don't go into these things looking for a specific. Oh, I wonder how they did this mechanic. Oh, you know, like we don't go into it that way. Like
you're blind. How's that gonna work?
Yeah, like we just want to play. Like we almost look at it like when you were a kid, and I don't know if they had this when you were growing up, but like we would go to the video store, and it would just be a bunch of boxes. We have no idea what the game is. We just turn the box around and we're like, oh, that looks cool. I'll pay $6 to rent this for 3 days. And then we just put it in our system at home and we just play it. Like, that's it. That we're not looking to reinvent the wheel and like figure out, you know, I don't know. We're not trying to dissect everything from a reviewer's perspective. That's not what it's about. You're there showing off something that you were so passionate about and created for so many years at this point. Like, why would we go into it like that? Like, that's not what it's about. It's about celebrating your game, not tearing it apart and, you know, trying to figure out how the sausage is made. I don't know. That seems like just the wrong way of going about things. I like the 5-year-old mentality of going in, figuring out, mashing the buttons, and having a good time.
And you do have a 5-year-old mentality.
Excuse me, 8-year-old mentality. I have an 8-year-old mentality. A little bit.
Hey, okay. It's just to go to a game for the sake, really for the sake of playing it. That's all. There are also, you know, what I'm a mentor also in a kind of incubator here. It's an incubator here in Barcelona. And, you know, there are some students, they want to say, how shall I do the tutorial? How shall I do this? How shall I do that? I will say, first of all, whatever tutorial you do, you will always do it wrong. Someone will not understand the shit about the things that you put over there because they were playing, I don't know, game, kind of game, and then they will put hands on yours and they will not understand anything, despite how many arrows, how many colors, how many narrative, how many text, how much text, or no text at all.
Voiceovers.
That doesn't matter. They will always. So there is no perfect tutorial.
Correct.
And for how much you can try, then I remember always, yes, comes a 4 years old that completes the game. So it's totally, you know, because we are there is a stage where too old and we want to follow the guidelines respectfully instead of having fun. So if you don't follow, they are not clear for someone, they will say, this game is not clear. Why a 4 years old girl could manage, and you are 35 and you're right, not you guys, and you
no, you got it, you nailed it. You nailed it.
He's talking about us specifically.
No, you got it.
And some people, they can't play, so there is a problem somehow. And this, I think, most in the culture, you know, because people they speak about video games, but video games, can you have a program about movies nowadays? No, I don't think. You can have contents about a genre of movie,
right?
A genre of series, a kind of contents like movies. It's also, you know, movies and series. It's, you know, always something that you see, you receive passively. How you can write a big good and everything? No, there are some things you don't know, and it's a different gender. So you cannot cover all the gender. It's impossible.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, but thankfully, like I think with a game like yours, you cast a wide enough net where you can grab like a lot of our demographic
Mm-hmm.
that are gonna want to enjoy it, because I feel like there's not too much hand holding, which is why I like it a lot. It goes back to a simpler time where I would throw in a Nintendo
Mm-hmm.
game and not even look at the manual at all. Just see like the game design should teach me how to play the game, not a bunch of text and someone saying press this to jump and press this to slash, and go through a very
Yeah.
like hour-long session of just what the controls are, when I could just pull up a menu, see what buttons do what. Like I think that's why your game, it's designed so well. It teaches as you play, and
Mm.
it goes back to like that old philosophy of game design where you had to be limited in how your game was simple, and you had to teach through its simplicity, and that's what you're doing, I feel, with this game, which even though it's very layered with the whole sensors and blindness, it has that old world like game design philosophy
Okay.
to it. Yeah.
Indeed, we have a tutorial which it's separated in 4 steps. I hope, do it all of them, because yes, there are people. Yeah, I know how to play. Yeah,
Right.
but you don't know that you are blind.
Mhm.
I mean, because there are some people, they don't write, sorry, they don't read anything. They just don't. They say, "Ah, give it to me. I know how to do." Okay, it dies. And it dies million of times. Yeah, you cannot do anything. It's okay
They'll
because
figure it out. They'll
no, no,
figure it
no.
out
Oh, they'll say, oh,
eventually.
this game sucks. Like, I keep
Yeah, yeah,
dying.
yeah.
Well, because you're not paying attention to what the
No.
game is.
Not neither to the title. I mean, blind means perhaps you are blind.
It's in the name.
It's in the name. Yes, yes, it is.
Oh, you meant no sight. Oh,
Ah,
I see.
but they are invisible. Why they are invisible? Many times they say, why they're invisible? No,
Oh
no,
my
you are blind. They
god.
are not invisible. You are blind. You don't see them.
Pay
Why?
pay
This
attention
is
to
the
the
name.
because it's
Cioè, play something else. I mean,
Oh.
I'm happy. I mean, don't worry, don't worry. I mean, it doesn't matter. Man. Play something else.
But if you
Okay.
listen, listeners and viewers, if you stick with it, I'm telling you, it's a very good game. But let's get into rapid fire, Andy. It's that time.
Oh yeah, and also for those who want to see how good of a game it is, go to our YouTube channel,
Yes,
youtube.com/dual-screens-tv for my full demo playthrough of
indeed.
Blind Fate. And I don't suck as bad,
Too bad.
but that's
Too bad.
that's proper. That's clever editing. That's
Yeah.
I cut out like 3 hours of deaths. I was like, I'm just gonna tack on my win at the end.
It's smart. That's the best way to do it.
I love Premiere. But yes, let's go into rapid fire, Steven.
All right, Saverio. This is when we like to get. This is where we get to know you, underneath all of this, the skin, and beard, and shirt.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is where we get to.
And cat hair also.
Exactly. So, I'll start us off. What is the perfect breakfast?
For me, I
Mhm.
thought I was waiting for a game designer.
No. You. What is the perfect breakfast?
Look, I discovered lately is okay, coffee with milk, oat milk, whatever, vegetable milk with the mandala, with the with what's the name of the Greek sweet? I remember the biscuits. Okay, those some Greek biscuits that we made at home.
Greek biscuits.
A lot of Greek biscuits
Yes.
out
Coffee and Greek biscuits. I like it.
Yes, yes.
there. If you were blind, what
Mhm.
would you be most concerned about? Like if you're freshly, let's say someone just took away your eyesight,
Interesting.
like there was like a curse. What do you think you'd be most worried about in your day-to-day life?
That well, someone slaps my face without knowing. Let's say someone comes
okay.
like this.
Insecurities. I like that.
Yeah,
because I go right to like either bugs in my food or crumbs. Just
no.
crumbs in my house, like not getting all the crumbs. off a table.
Wow.
Well, I have them. I don't think I'm
Yeah.
blind for them. I mean, I don't see them anymore. I mean, for
Yeah,
me, it exists. They're there, but I don't care.
Oh man, Andy, you would go nuts here if you lived with me.
Yeah.
I'm
don't
not.
wanna be
I
in
mean,
your
I don't
house.
like crumbs, but like my little mutants make plenty of them. So
It's like someone just shook out a toaster all over your
yeah,
all over your
basically
house.
all over my living room. Let's see. Okay, here's a
Pun?
good one.
Is that a pun?
What's that?
You said let's see.
Oh, ha ha ha
Just
ha.
I
ha.
had to. It
All
was
right, let's
there.
do a classic. Let's do a classic. Would you rather have the power of flight or invisibility?
Fly.
Flying.
Mm,
Flying. Okay.
mhm. Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Oh.
This is-
Well,
this,
let's
this is
say,
good for an Italian.
let's say, what is leave meeting? Where's the button?
Where's
Oh.
the
Well,
pineapple on pizza? Leave meeting. Got it.
Yeah,
I think we know the answer here.
it's a good. It's a
okay.
good
No,
answer.
the only fruit on the pizza is tomato. No other
Mm.
fruit.
I get you. I
That's
get
the
you.
right. That's the right answer.
Well, it's an answer.
It is the correct answer.
It is a answer. I'm just saying I'm not discriminatory. I don't choose the fruit to go on the pizza, but if it's on the pizza, I'm not gonna say
I am a better fruit to go on pizza than pineapple. Let's
Well,
just put it that way.
you
Next
are,
question.
You are the best fruit. Would you rather explore the deepest, darkest parts of our own planet or discover a new planet for the very first time?
By planet.
Mm.
And name it.
And you would name
what would you name it?
And yes. How? Well, I don't know. It's too fast for me. I have to think.
You have to think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
It is called
Nice.
rapid fire.
Okay, Saverio. I will write Saverio 1, 2, 3.
I mean, that's a good name for a
Saverio
planet.
1, 2, 3. Okay, I was gonna say there has to be
Yeah.
some weird numbers in there, but 1, 2,
Yeah.
3, that's a good one.
Yes. Like the characters, no? You know, in the video game they come those characters with 1, 2, 3 with numbers because
Right.
something like that.
Hashtag exclamation point $.
And, yes.
Would it be so bad if machines ruled over our lives completely?
No, it's not ruling. It's not ruling. They will take a better decision,
Mm-hmm.
I think.
I think it's already happening. There's already so much of that happening. Let me ask you this. Does anybody truly know what time it is? Or do we just listen to the machines that tell us what time it is?
Time it's
Does
time,
anyone
it's,
on Earth know the actual time? Or do we just
I
rely
mean-
on a machine?
where the machine gives you the time?
Exactly. The
Right.
machine knows.
So,
Well, we also gauge by.
I mean, you build a
God.
machine to say what time it is, but if you need to know what time it is, else if you don't need,
Exactly.
some people, of course, you need to know what time it is.
My cat has
Awesome.
escaped me and is now behind my monitor. So anything could happen here on this podcast, folks. You are
really
going to
glad I
be you
can't
could
see
you
it.
could witness you could witness destruction incarnate happening. She is behind the camera. She snuck by me. She was being cute next to me, laying down, and then she just got a burst of energy and went behind the
This is why you don't have can you pet the cat in the game?
no,
No one wants to pet cats.
because they'll bite you. Whose question is it? I think it's yours, Andy.
Let's see. Oh, what is the dumbest way you've ever injured yourself?
Look, no, fantastic. I mean, indeed. Can I have multiple answers?
Oh, I mean, if you're like a top 5 or top 3, like give me your greatest
So
hits of the dumb ways you've hurt yourself.
I don't know, I was perhaps 13, 14. I don't know which age I was. I don't know why my brain went blank. Really, I was starting wondering, whether the electric kitchen, the one that gives a spark, the gas comes out and there is a spark, no?
Yeah, right.
That gives fire. No, it was some
Right.
okay, old. I don't know why my brain said, "What are the spark made of?" So
Uh-oh.
I had to put the finger when the spark was coming out. Of course, no gas, just tuck, tuck, tuck. This.
Yeah.
And I remember it was electricity, but really, I stayed like a stupid for like 20 minutes. I don't know why it came across my mind to check the sparks are made of. I didn't know. I didn't know what is this blue things. I don't know. I forgot. Really blank. So if I will have Alzheimer, doesn't matter. I had already when I was 13 or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. Was I shake my hand sometimes for this. Something else is how I wound myself. It was not really with pain. Just I was playing with a pencil, and the pencil come back on my hands, standing, and then it broke. So the tip of of the graphite still in my hand. Since I was a child, is in a position I cannot. It's still there since I don't know 20 years.
You know, I have something similar. I do have a piece of graphite still.
Yes.
It's bluish now. It's like a tiny. You can't see it, viewers, but it's
Isn't
a
that
tiny.
bad? For like
No, graphite's fine. It's the lead you don't want.
Sure.
So anyway, the Greek biscuits are mellow macarons.
Oh yes, Mal
Yeah.
Macaron is my favorite. That's like my Easter to go, like the
Something
little
like-
warm honey juice on them with the little nuts.
Yes.
I'll bring you some, Steven. So good.
Would you rather have a best friend that is a superhero or a supervillain?
As a best friend, right?
Yeah, it's your best friend in the whole world.
Oh, it's the super villain.
Yes.
I guess the super villain,
It's just more interesting, right?
Yes.
because I'm friend of the good guy, so the bad guy can do something to me. To arrive,
Right. Okay.
to
Yeah,
take
because
me
the
hostage.
hero's not going to kill the best
Yeah,
friend of the
the hero
villain.
say, what do you want? Me, it's my friend. I mean,
I'm not the bad
but-
guy. You know.
And
I'm
you
not the
could,
bad
like-
guy. He's an asshole, but what should I do?
You could like propose schemes to like your supervillain friend, like, hey, you should do this to
Yeah.
like take over
Yeah.
the city. And then, it's a win-win. If they take over the world, they're your best friend, so you're safe.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
if they
yeah.
fail, then you're
It's
good.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
You're totally
I guess,
good.
but
like
not
it.
for convenience. So it's okay. Also to listen to the stupid plan to overtake the world.
Just be like, I don't know, but I don't know, man. That doesn't sound like you're not
Yeah,
you're not a henchman per se, but you're kind of, because you're the actual best friend, like they'll listen to you a little bit more.
Yeah, perhaps. Yeah.
Be like,
Yeah.
no, you don't want to do that. Let's not do that.
Let's do some. Let's go to the cinema instead. Let's go to
Andy, speaking of doing that, it is time to do that.
That can I do
It's-
one more question first?
All
Let's
right,
do
and
the
then
that.
I'll do the that. Okay,
the
go ahead.
that.
You got one
Okay.
more question. Go ahead.
All right.
Don't say I never did anything for you.
You do so many things for me.
The most. Here, cat's on the move.
All of it. If you were a ghost
Ooh.
and you could possess one item in someone's house to haunt them with, what would that be?
I have to hunt.
You
The
can only
stuff?
you could, let's say like you could possess someone's toothbrush or toilet brush.
I know you want to say that you want to ask someone's dildo, but
Oh, hello.
I know
But you
you
know-
want you know what you want me to say.
He's
that,
a mind reader too.
but I was to
I
see,
think
but
this is my favorite guest
Mm.
ever. It's on a haunted dildo.
something like it depends. It depends by what I want to do. If it's a real person that I really hate, everything that can damage this person, to electrocute them or something.
Oh man.
Yeah,
Okay.
fuck you, that die. It's something I want to have only fun. I don't know, the toilet paper
Oh, haunted toilet paper.
or the what? I don't know, like to change temperature in the water or to change the TV, the TV channel,
God.
something like that. I mean, something
If I
basically.
was if I was haunted TP, I would just move out of the way when they're about to wipe. And just get just a handful of like
You know what would be a really good one? The router. If you-
someone's Wi-Fi.
You just kind of make it drop every so often, like when they're
Right.
really in the middle of something important, or like,
when they're on a
downloading a
work call.
thing. Yeah, the work call
okay.
or like whatever. Just boop, just let it drop for like a second and then come back, just to cause minor inconveniences. Like everything's connected to it. Like their Alexa won't work. Like just make it drop every once in a while, turn their lights on and off. Because everything's gonna be Wi-Fi. All right,
listen. Hold on. The next time, if you're ever at a game jam, just do a haunted dildo game. Whatever the premise is, the setup, the mechanics, the genre, just like I'm gonna make a haunted dildo game and put it on itch.io and then make
what can a dildo do that is negative as it's being haunted? Like if you're haunting it,
I mean,
like what's the worst thing it can do? Because it has like one function. Multiple speeds.
Listen, it can over vibrate,
right.
Battle your insides or get really, really hot.
Interesting.
Something like this.
It's just gonna go really bad places.
This is a good conversation. It is now time for the final question and the most difficult question, Saverio. This is you're gonna have to really dig deep for your answer here.
Dig as deep as that haunted dildo.
That's right.
Yeah.
This question might haunt you worse than the haunted dildo. Severio, it's a very simple question. It is a binary question. It is a this or that, and it is very simple.
It's yes or yes. Like
yes or yes.
Yes.
And the question is, Andy or Steve?
Andy.
Okay. Nice.
All right.
I thought he would say exit meeting for a second.
Exit meeting. Leave meeting.
Leave meeting. Pizza. Pineapple pizza.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to bring us to the end of the show. If you want to follow us on social media, we're at dual_screens. You could go on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/dualscreens.tv. Our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/dualscreens streams. I'm at Batchild27. Andy is at Pantsky. Our Facebook group is facebook.com/groups/DS podcasts. Saverio, where can everybody find you and Blind Fate and all that fun stuff?
Well, on Twitter, we are Troglobytes. Basically, it's if you follow it, well, thank you. And we are also on there. There are the links for everything. Our Discord, which I am, usually I'm the guy who greets and then answer to the question. And you will find our games in also Steam and the console. And that's all, I guess.
Awesome. Well,
and also the best podcast like this one.
Yeah.
Aww.
Oh, my cat's knocking things over. There she is, ladies and gentlemen, knocking things over on my shelf. Thank you so much for listening and viewers. My house is falling apart. My cat is knocking things off my shelf. Oh my God, where'd she go? Oh boy. All right. Thank you, Andy. Thank you, Saverio. Thank you, listeners. Thank you, viewers. This has been the Dual Screens Podcast. And as always, please be excellent to each other.